Hi everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. Today we're having a deep chat, okay? We're having a philosophical, deep thoughts kind of chat because I've been thinking recently about purpose, about the desire to find a purpose in life, and whether or not thinking about this and thinking that this is something important that we need to do. We need to find a purpose. We need to know why we're on earth. We need to know what we're here for, blah, blah, blah. Whether it's just like all people in general, like why the fuck are we here at all? Or it's like you as an individual, like what's my purpose? Does it actually serve us to put finding a purpose on a pedestal and like really think it matters? Or does it just stress us out? Because it's interesting and it's also polarizing. A lot of people have very different opinions on this, which means it's a perfect podcast episode. I love when everyone has a different take and hearing what people think. It's very nuanced. Whether or not you think having a purpose is necessary to live a fulfilling life, or you think it's bullshit and just something that we're clinging on to feel like we're sane and we know what's going on. Firstly, life is weird, right? We need to acknowledge that life is a very strange thing. When you think too much about it, you might go a little bit mental. I know that I do. And the fact that we are on this planet, we don't really know why we're here, how we got here, how anything fucking works. It's like there's so many endless questions and it is a mystery. People obviously have their own beliefs, their own maybe tied to religion beliefs on things, or their own theories or ideas, but like it is still a massive fucking question mark objectively, right? What's going on? Even if like you think it's one thing, like to the next person they might think it's something else, meaning like who fucking knows, right? It's not something that's like we're all on the same page about this thing. It's a very polarizing topic. But I was thinking about it. I was like walking around one day and I was thinking like, is the reason that we as humans a lot of the time cling on to like finding a purpose and needing to know why we're here just kind of like a mechanism we have to not go mental, right? To feel like we're making some sort of sense in our brain as to what the fuck is going on. And oh yeah, this is the purpose, this is why we're here, it all makes sense, let's just delude myself into thinking that's what's going on so that I don't really think about the fact that what the fuck is going on, right? Like, is it kind of a coping mechanism and a bit of a delusion? And even if it is, does it matter? Do you know what I mean? Even if it is a coping mechanism and it is deluded as fuck, if it makes you feel more sane, who gives a fuck? Do you know what I mean? But I was thinking, is that why a lot of us feel the need to know what our purpose is? Just so that we feel like we've got our feet on the ground and we know kind of what's happening a bit, or at least we feel like we do, in a world that is so bizarre when you really think about it. Like if we were just like vibing through life, not really feeling like we need to know what's going on ever, maybe it would freak us out and we'd be having like an existential crisis every other minute. And kind of picking a narrative as to why you're here and gripping onto that kind of prevents you from sliding into a dark hole every day mentally, right? But I decided to do some research on this because I do think that feeling a sense of purpose is obviously something that often is very mentally healthy and like pushed, that like to feel better and more fulfilled, like finding a kind of sense of purpose in yourself is a great way to do that. If you feel like you don't have a sense of purpose, you can often feel lost and stressed and all over the place, and kind of having like a center is something that's like often very mentally healthy to do, right? It's like got a lot of benefits to it and stuff. So I was like, I want to research it because I don't know. I don't know if it's a delusion. I don't know if it's a necessary thing that we do. I don't know. I don't know what's going on either. Because even on this podcast I've openly talked about how I think having some sort of a north star and some sort of like a big goal to kind of strive for, it doesn't even matter what, this is like things I've talked about in my podcast and kind of my opinion still, it doesn't even necessarily matter what that north star is and what that thing that you're striving for is, but it just gives you a sense of like a reason to wake up in the morning, something that you feel like you've got something to do. It's better than having idle hands and doing fucking nothing. Do you know what I mean? It's better than just floating around being like, what the fuck is going on, and stressing. It's good to have goals. People benefit from having goals and focus, and I stand by that. I think that people are designed to have a focus and have goals and to problem solve and be kind of busy, that I think if you're left to your own devices and have no idea what the fuck is going on, you can quite often end up depressed, I think that can lead you into quite an unhealthy mental state. And that kind of links obviously to the conversation about purpose, that maybe like having that as like a north star in your life is healthy, and not having that can lead to idle hands and existential crisis, right? But I did do some research that I would like to share. Okay, firstly, I just Googled, like, is having a purpose necessary or something? I don't know what the fuck I Googled. The first thing that came up is that people need to feel a sense of purpose because it's strongly linked to improved mental and physical well-being, providing a sense of meaning in life, allowing individuals to feel like their actions have value, and helping them navigate challenges with more resilience, ultimately contributing to a more fulfilling existence. And research shows that people with a purpose tend to live longer, experience less stress, and make healthier choices, which I believe. However, that does not necessarily mean that it's not a delusion. It just means it's a delusion that works, right? But yeah, I do agree with, this is the thing, I'm like neither here nor there. These are just like random thoughts I have about it. But I do believe that kind of feeling like you're part of a bigger picture in some way, shape or form, feeling like you've got some sort of purpose, can make you less self-absorbed. I think feeling like nothing really matters, you don't really know why you're here or why anything's here, do you know what I mean? It can kind of lead to you being a bit of a dick, being quite self-absorbed, selfish, not really thinking about your choices. You kind of have this air of like nothing matters anyway, right? I think that can lead to you making unhealthier choices and not being a nice person, right? Just to be straight. I think that people that don't really have any sort of North Star, or like, even if it's not, like I said, this big sense of like, why are human beings on Earth? You know, that's quite a tall order to know why the fuck that we're here. However, even just people that don't really feel like they have their own kind of feet on the ground, or their own kind of like, I feel like maybe this is why I'm here, I feel like this kind of resonates with me or whatever. People that kind of aren't rooted in any sort of purpose at all can often be people that do act very selfishly, you know, and maybe do make less healthy decisions and not really look after themselves very much, not really look after the people around them, because they have this like nihilism to them, right? This is the thing, is like, is it nihilistic or is it just realistic? I don't know. And like, are they the same thing? I don't fucking know. But, you know, I think life a lot of the time is full of things that are arguably delusions that do make us feel better, you know, the everything happens for a reason, these things that like we don't really know, but you can choose to kind of lean into them if it makes you feel better. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but if it makes you feel better, it doesn't really make a difference because it feels true to you, therefore it's true, you know. And you know, life's hard, and like if we need to tell ourselves certain things or believe in certain things or whatever, like, and that makes us feel better and more grounded, then I'm all for that. Do you know what I mean? As long as you're not pushing it upon anyone else, forcing it down anyone else's throat, then I think it can often just make you more calm, give you that sense of purpose and grounding, and maybe motivate you more to, you know, make better choices, get up in the morning, feel good, feel a sense of calm. Because I do think there can be a sense of anxiety when you don't know what's going on, you haven't thought up something in your mind as to why you're here, you know. There can be this like underlying sense of like stress, and you get this calm if you like just believe in something sometimes, you know what I mean? No matter what it is, sometimes that just alleviates that stress because you're like, you know, it's like maybe it's a religion, maybe it's a spiritual belief, or maybe it's something completely personal to you, you know, it doesn't matter, but having something sometimes just takes that kind of weight off of your mind to work out what's going on. And I think I've resonated, that's the thing, at different points in my life with different ends of the spectrum. Sometimes I've really resonated with a certain purpose or a certain belief of what's going on, why I'm here, you know, and it's really helped me to have like a specific purpose or belief. But sometimes that stressed me out more. I think sometimes it's made me really anxious, feeling like I need to find my purpose and find out what's going on, and it's kind of felt better and more relaxed to me to kind of let go and think, I don't know what's going on, and I have no more purpose than a bird in the sky. Do you know what I mean? I'm just here on Earth doing trying to be a good person, enjoying my life, doing good things, and that's enough. I don't need to know anything more. And sometimes taking the weight off of your shoulders to work out why you think you're here feels nicer. And I do think it's quite a big stressor that is put on people from a young age to work out why you're here, what do you want to do, what do you want to do with your life, what do you want people to remember you for, what do you want the people that love you to remember you for, what, even just like, what career do you want? Like, I don't fucking know. We get asked these big questions from when we're like in school, in primary school, in secondary school, in college, in uni. Like, we're constantly asked these big questions that we don't fucking know the answer to. And I think that is probably, this is something I thought, trying to find a sense of purpose, I guarantee, is one of the main sources of anxiety for people in their teens or 20s. I guarantee it. Because it is such a huge ask. It is so anxiety inducing. And yet it's something that we're pushed to kind of work out all the time when we're younger, you know? More so like your individual sense of purpose, not like the earth and what's going on in the universe, but like your own personal sense of purpose and what you're here from, what you want to do. It's something that we're really pushed to fucking know what we want to do for like a lot of our young life, and probably it never ends. I feel like people just constantly judge and pressure you and push you to, do you know what you're gonna do with this and what you're gonna do with that, you know? So I did do some research on that as well, on anxiety around finding your purpose in young people, because I was like, I bet there is many studies on this, because it's gonna be a huge cause of anxiety. And after some research, I did find out that there's a name for it. Purpose anxiety is a thing that has been fucking researched and studied. A study on healthline.com, someone called Rainey found 91% of participants in her study experienced purpose anxiety at some point in their life, right? So that's almost everyone. That's almost everyone. However, again, this is going to be polarizing. People have different takes. Some people were saying that they could argue that purpose anxiety is intensely outweighed by actually just finding a purpose, that it's worthwhile, basically, that purpose anxiety, yes, it's unpleasant and it's stressful, but it's better to have purpose anxiety and find your purpose than to not be anxious about that, not worry about it, not give a fuck, and just never think about it, because that creates more problems over time. That's what some people were saying, that it was kind of like 50-50 on whether or not finding a purpose is necessary and healthy and worth the anxiety, or it's like I said, we have no more purpose than a bird flying through the sky, and that's a great image, and that feels honestly really relaxing to me, to think about that being real and that being reality. That's probably the one that I feel the most like I resonate with right now. But that's the thing, is I think it can change. I think, my personal opinion, again, this is so abstract that like fuck knows what's right or wrong. There probably isn't a right or wrong. Definitely isn't. But my opinion is that purpose can change. Like, I think it's less about finding one purpose that overarches like your whole life purpose, right? Like, this is the one thing that I'm here for, and that's my purpose until I die. I don't really believe in that. I think if that works for you, that works for you. And who knows, maybe I'll change my mind again in a week. Like, I don't know. I change my thoughts frequently. But I think of it less of that, because I think that's a lot of pressure, that's a big ask. I don't fucking know, like, that's a lot. I kind of see it as like having a purpose that can change, that can be different. It's kind of more like a passion than a purpose, right? It's kind of like, I think not having any passion or drive or excitement for anything is not a fun life. And I think having some sort of passion or goal, even if it only takes like a month and then it changes the next month, you've always kind of got a North Star. You've always got something that you're interested in, that you're passionate about, and like feel alive towards, do you know what I mean, that you love and that you're excited about. And that to me is purpose. That's currently your passion and your purpose, and it's making you feel alive. And maybe one month that's, I really want to fucking travel, I want to see the world, and that's currently my purpose of what I feel like I need to be doing right now, that feels aligned with me right now. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like more so paying attention to what feels aligned with you, and as long as you're kind of on the same page as that and following your joy and following your passion, then you're following your purpose, and that will change and that will evolve. Sometimes, like I said, it will be traveling. Sometimes maybe it'll be like, right now I feel like I want to have a baby, or I want to find a relationship, and my current purpose is being the best partner that I can be. Or maybe it's, I want to build my own house from the ground up, and that is currently my purpose. Who cares if it's not your entire life purpose? Do you know what I mean? However, I know that you could argue that you could go through these things, go through these motions and change, blah, 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 but you could still feel lost, because not having an overall kind of like bigger sense of purpose, maybe, you know, that's what people argue that you need, like something bigger, like a religion or like a spiritual thing. However, I don't think maybe everyone needs that. I think some people probably need that, and some people might not. Some people might have their own kind of belief system and opinion on their own life that works for them. Do you know what I mean? Like, who are you to judge if they're happy and they're following what they want to do with their life? Like, you can't really dispute that. Like, people are going to do what they want to do. However, I do think having your own kind of philosophy on life, no matter what that is, I don't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? Even if it's religion, or if it's just like, I think life is about being a good person, looking after people around you and having fun. and trying everything that you can in your life, squeezing everything you can into your life. And I think that's what we're here to do. We're here to experience shit. Then, like, if that's your philosophy, that's sick. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of my philosophy. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. Again, it could change in like 5 seconds, but that gives you a sense of, I kind of know what I think is going on here. I think that's why we're here, you know? And it might sound mental to the next person what your reason of why you're here is. Does not matter. Does not matter at all. Because every single person's one is a question mark. None are right or wrong. We don't fucking know. And I do think, actually, like I said, it feels like a weight off your shoulders, and it feels relaxing and freeing to take that pressure off of yourself, to know this bigger answer of what you're doing and why you're here. I saw this quote actually on Twitter, X, that I'm loving the thing about the birds in the sky. Like, I love that visual, but I stole it from them. They said, there is absolutely nothing you're supposed to be doing. You have no more purpose than the birds in the sky. Go to lots of places, be poor, shit on things. That was a quote, and as much as it's ridiculous, I love it. I love it. The fact that there is nothing you're supposed to be doing. Like, whether or not you agree with that or not, doesn't that feel really fucking nice? Because I feel like we're in a life and in a world that's so busy and feels like your attention and your energy is strung in every direction all the time. And like, there's always stuff we need to be doing and we're never doing enough. That's kind of what the constant state of the world feels like. Even if you're spending the second you wake up to the second you go to sleep getting shit done, you're not doing enough. Sorry, you forgot to do this. Do you know what I mean? That's what it feels like. And I think someone just saying to you, there's nothing you're supposed to be doing. You don't need to be anywhere. You don't need to be doing anything differently. You are where you're meant to be right now, doing what you're meant to be doing right now, and everything is going as it should be. I love that, and I do believe that, because I think that aligns with my own personal philosophy of life, I guess. Do you know what I mean? Some people might hear that and be like, that's not fucking true. Like, there is something you're meant to be doing. Okay, then you think that. You know, as long as we're doing what feels good to us, who gives a fuck? As long as you're being a good person, obviously, and not, like, being a selfish dick and treating people like shit, like, obviously. But I love this idea that there's nothing you're supposed to be doing. Like, your life is, I sound like a philosopher, but like, your life is your life to create. It is a blank slate. You can do what you want. You can create your own reasons for things. You can create your own ideas. And, oh, I think this is why we're here. I think we're here because we're all meant to buy as many candles as we can in our life. If that's what you think, cool. Like, it doesn't matter. Your life, you think whatever you want. You do what you want. You can dress yourself how you want. You can do your hair how you want. You can date whoever you want. You can travel as much as you want. You could go to every country in the world, or you could go to none. You could think, I'm not really that interested in that. What I want is to start a farm. I want to move onto a farm and grow vegetables, and that's what I really want to do. And that feels like, if I do that, my life was well lived, and I did what I was supposed to do on this earth. Great. Like, there is no fucking answers to questions like these. Do what feels right to you, because whatever you pick, this is one of those things, like, whatever you pick, whatever you think, whatever you do, someone's not going to like it. Someone's not going to like you. Someone's going to think that that's stupid. Even if you think the more, like, I don't want to say cliche, but, like, you know what I mean, the more, like, common, like, things that people lean on for purpose is, like, God, for a lot of people. That feels like one of the main ones that people believe. However, like, a lot of people would think that's stupid. A lot of people would think, I'm not speaking for myself, obviously, but, like, some people would think, that's fucking stupid. That's not what it is. That's insane. Why, you're delusional if you think that's what it is. A lot of people do think that about religion. But some people think, you're fucking stupid if you don't have a religion, you know? And that's obviously a massive conversation. But it's very relevant here that, like, people are going to turn their nose up at whatever the fuck you do. And your life, like I said, is a blank canvas. It's yours to create your own opinions and your own kind of philosophies about what's going on and what you want to do with your life and what you want to believe in. I feel like I'm going down a kind of little rabbit hole. Is this what I was talking about? Is this the question? Another quote that I found on Psychology Today, the website. I actually didn't write down who said this, but I'm citing the website at least. Someone said, go find your purpose. It doesn't have to change the world. It just has to engage your passion. Once you've found it, go live a longer, happier, healthier, wealthier life. Which is like what I was saying. Engaging your passion and following your intuition with what feels good and feels aligned to you is an exciting, alive feeling, like passionate life, and you could say that is synonymous with a purpose-driven life. Another interesting take I found from developmental psychologist William Damon has this idea that we should see purpose as a goal towards which we are always working. It is the forward-pointing arrow that motivates our behavior and serves as the organizing principle of our lives. AKA, purpose needs to be created and not found. It's not innate and waiting to be discovered. That causes anxiety. I love that. The fact that this is kind of the question, isn't it? Is there an innate purpose that we need to discover within ourselves? Or do we just create one and pick one and do what we want? You know? Because there is this like idea as well that like, what's my purpose? Who am I? I need to discover my true self. I need to find my purpose and find out what I need to be doing and stuff. And it's like, is there something to find, or do you just create that and decide that for yourself? You know, that kind of ties into my blank canvas thing. I'm suggesting it's not innate and that you pick what you want to do, you know, but obviously a lot of people would disagree and say that you're put on earth with a purpose, and that purpose is something that you should fulfill throughout your life. That's why you're here. You're not just here for your own selfish fun reasons to do what you fancy doing. You're here for a bigger reason, and you need to fucking do your duty. Do you know what I mean? Really depends on your philosophy. And like I said, I'm kind of neither here nor there. Like, I've gone through phases in my life where I have, like I said, really liked and felt aligned with the idea that we're kind of just here to do what we want to do, and like no one fucking knows and what is going on anyway. Just do what you enjoy. But I've also sometimes felt like that's not enough for me, and like I have had phases in my life where I do really lean on things like religion or spirituality of some kind. Like, I've kind of feel like I've dipped my toes in a little bit of everything, because it does kind of feel nice to try different things out and see what feels good for you. And I think it's okay if it changes. Like, I think it's okay to not be sure, basically, which is where I'm at. I'm not sure. I don't have the answer. I may never have it, probably. However, yeah, there are so many opinions on this, but I don't think it's helpful to feel, whatever you think, a load of guilt, anxiety, stress, pressure, to find out this mystery thing, you know, this thing of like, I'm feeling a little bit lost and like I don't know what's going on, but it will be fine once I find out this mystery thing called purpose that will make everything make sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, it does feel kind of wild to think there's this abstract concept that purpose is a thing that we need to find, and it will kind of be the answer to all of our problems and kind of be the answer to all of our questions, and like sort everything out and make us feel this like overall like, yeah, I know what's going on with the world now. Like, that's quite a big fucking like thing to put on something that's like abstract and no one knows where you find it or if it exists, if it's innate, if I'm meant to just think it up. Like, it's a lot of pressure. Do you know what I mean? I think don't feel bad or stressed or like you're not doing a good enough job or like you need to do better and think harder if you don't know, because I don't fucking know either, okay? And like I said at the start, a lot of people that think that they do know, it could just be some sort of delusion that they're so stressed out that they don't know, that they've thought up something that makes them feel like they do know, and they're just gripping onto that and really pretending that they have a Scooby what's going on, right? It doesn't necessarily mean they've all got the answers and I still don't. Maybe no one does, and the people that seem like they do are just pretending. Like, we don't know, okay? So I'm gonna stop here before I go mental, like fully. Like, I'm already a little bit, but like fully mental. Like, let's stop now, you know? So thank you for listening. I hope that you found this interesting. I would love to know people's thoughts. Like, please comment your thoughts, because I guarantee there's going to be a spectrum of opinions and thoughts, because there always is, especially about things like this. Like, yeah, thank you for listening, and I will talk to you next week.